All right, I'm going to do a quick VOD review here. And when I say quick, I'm actually going to mean it. A lot of my VOD reviews I do in like real time. But what I'll tell you just what just happened to me is I just did a whole recording of like a 45-minute VOD review for you. And it didn't record my microphone. And so that's really frustrating. What I want to do is kind of just go over the clip notes of what I learned from your gameplay. The first thing I want to mention is that on Zarya, what I noticed is a little bit of late bubbles. Okay, and I'm going to give you some examples of that. I think the best example of late bubble, let's see, is this one right here. Okay, I thought I just got right on top of it. That was awesome. This is or sometimes late, sometimes early. Okay, just very bad, like not great timing. In this moment, we go back 5 seconds to kind of watch. You're sort of defending this streets position here, right? And then as your Rein is kind of corner swinging, you go for this bubble. And what's noteworthy about this bubble is that the enemy team is over here and you're over here and you're thinking, okay, well, if I bubble my Rein and I'm at 44 energy and he goes into this way, well, then I could be at 80 energy and then we can win the fight because I'm 80 energy, right? Well, here's the thing, right? They haven't committed to the push yet, and you've committed to the bubble, all right? And so what they could do here is A, just not shoot the bubble, pause their commitment, wait till your bubble goes away, and then push you, which is what's going to happen. And so if you watch this, not only do you not have 80 energy, okay, you go down. You didn't get any energy from that. Now you don't have your bubble, and now they can push you, right? And so when you make a bubble, what you want to do is make sure that the bubble is actively blocking damage to you in case you really need that, or you're trying to build energy and then immediately retreat to a point in which you can wait that 10-second cooldown again to make another push, or it is actually the push you're making, right? And so in this scenario with your team back here, what you want to do is wait for them to push in, bait them into this choke to where they're like actually committed into it, and then use your bubble, right? Because in this moment, you actually do have both bubbles available to you. Okay, see, you have both bubbles available to you with 40 energy. And so if they just come into you, you don't have to build energy for like sort of a mid fight. You don't have to do this sort of like build an energy bubble, because when you use both your bubbles, ideally you're going to get to 100. You'll get to 100 and then that'll be in a push. You'll actually bubble to push and you will get to 100 and then you will be high energy in the mid fight, just like you want to be. All right. So that was one thing. Let's see if I can quickly find. I remember what was another thing. Okay, and so another thing I would want to talk about is the grab usage. I noticed, and I noticed on Reddit someone made a comment about this already, but in your grab usage was like you weren't paying attention to the lamp, and the lamp basically counters it, right? And so here, like your team's not ready to follow up on it. Your Rein was ready, your Rein was there, but they just have lamp, they have shield, they have everything, and so it was a little bit early. Okay, generally speaking, you don't want to grab in the initiation of the fight unless you have like some combo. Okay, if you've got a combo, you know that they've got lamp, right? And so what if you have like grab dragon and you plan to kill the lamp ASAP? Okay, well, that might be a different story. Then it's not so bad. But just a generic grab with hammer swings, you want to do that like sort of like when the team is getting low on resources. By the enemy team. Okay, so grab usage, a little funky. There's another grab in this game on defense here where you did kind of the same thing. And so like if I cut forward a little bit here, not here, let's go back a bit. Yeah. Here you go. In this case, your Rein was running back. Your team is not really ready to follow up on this. And so you'll notice here that you actually grab and get 3 in there, but they're just going to use a lamp. Now you get the BAP in there. So you actually have 4 people in this grab, but there is nothing your team can do about it. And this grab just did absolutely nothing. It was completely cosmetic. Totally and utterly cosmetic. And then you died. Okay. So that pretty much sums up what I would have to... No, hold on. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more. Where is it? This one? Okay, I don't remember the part where it was like... Is this one? Let's see. Oh yeah, this is it. This is it. This is it. Okay, so in this moment, you're using this bubble here, right? And the problem I have with this is that when you use this bubble, it was sort of like a bubble where you just stood in open space, used it. They didn't really shoot it a whole lot, and then you just stayed here, right? And so this was not a bubble like a bubble and then back to corner so that we can get our cooldowns back, then I'll have high energy and we're ready to like make a push. It also was not a bubble in which you just pushed into them. That's a terrible arrow. It wasn't a bubble where you just like pushed into them because you know you can't go past this point with your BAP here and your Ana here. Like there's no way you can make a push here. So this bubble is just poor timing, poor fight timing. You're not seeing the fact that your team just needs to either bubble here and retreat, or just retreat. Like you don't make a push here. This is really bad. They're not far ahead enough. So when they get to about here, right? When their core gets to about like here, bad arrows, my bad. Then this is when you kind of want to use your bubbles to push. You use your bubbles to push here, and it forces, like if they're far enough ahead, it forces them to actually full retreat this way, which is probably going to cause them to die, or half their team to retreat in here, and their backline getting caught up with their pants down here, and then you can just kill them. Okay. That's one thing I wanted to bring up. And notice how when you do this, and now you've used your bubble here, and notice like they haven't even committed to the fight yet. You understand that like whatever cooldowns you use here, you know that they could just walk past, they could just back up here. They don't have to fight you. They don't have to take the fight right now. All right? But once you've used your cooldowns, you're kind of forced to take a fight if whether you want to or not. And you're not really like able to just kite behind this corner right now super easily. They're spamming the shit out of you. And so kind of like, watch this. Your Rein uses a little bit more shield, and he just kind of like dies to a Helix Fire Strike. And like that would have been a better time to like bubble him so he can get back around this corner. But like again, the team's not even like in yet. So your bubble in that moment would have to be a retreat bubble. You can't push with that bubble. You have to retreat, and Brawl doesn't want to poke. This is another or this should be a good example as to like why Reinhardt doesn't want to poke. Sit here, he's half health. He's got his like let's look at his shield. His shield's like half. He's half health. He's in the middle of open space. That's all terrible. Now he's like really got no shield. Even though he's got health, he's got no shield. He doesn't have your bubble. He just doesn't. He cannot stand here. He doesn't want to take a fight right here. He doesn't have the resources. He wants to take a fight when he has all of his resources, right? And so you want to take this fight when you're here and you've got your resources and they've made their push. Then you use your cooldowns into their cooldowns and see what you can do. Here, you're just taking spam. They took it slow. They played this perfectly. They took it slow, and they were able to not even have to commit until your Rein's dead. And now they just walk forward. They just walk forward. It's so easy. So simple. All right. And then from here, I've already watched it. You just lose. Okay. So we're going to move to the next one. Where's my mouse? There it is. Okay. So in the first fight, you're gonna die here because this enemy soldier needs to be killed by the D.Va. Like D.Va has to go get that soldier, but the fact is the soldier's just gonna keep slapping you. He just sits here and no one looks at the soldier, and the soldier just buries bullets into you constantly. Not much you can do, and your D.Va doesn't realize it. D.Va's not doing anything about it. So you die. Finally, Moira's gonna do something about it. Widow kills the Baptiste. And not much you could have done there to stay alive other than to tell your team to please help you with that soldier to the right. Like, tell your D.Va to please go deny that off angle. So question to point here, and when I start to notice something, is that, like, there's space that you can take, and you just need to take it, right? I know you're purple. I know you're Drake holding up shield here. But, like, what you're saying is this is your space. This is their space. And they can have it as long as you can have it, right? But don't give them this space. Say, no, you cannot have this space. Here, I'll tell you what you can have. You can have that. You can have that. As long as we have this, right? Have more. Just take more, right? You don't have to stand on point here. Why would you have to stand on point? Right? Like, actually just walk. Just walk forward. Sling with the Zarya. Kill the Zarya. Excellent. Hold the corner. Hold the corner. Swing around this corner right here so that they know you're right here. Your team caps point. You do not have to be on point. Okay? You do not have to be on point. See how honestly, like how the Rein kind of wants to like inch forward a little bit here. And he's getting a little courageous. And the reason why he's a little courageous is because you're not really holding a lot of space. Like you could be sitting here, hammer swinging, all right? And he wouldn't even think about it. He'd be like, all right, I'm out. Wouldn't even be thinking about it. Don't even give him the opportunity. Just take the space. Your Hanzo is just standing way too far up there. He could almost die. Okay. Good. Excellent. So you can go into this. You can go in big. I remember here you were not super aggressive. Okay. So here the window comes up and you're too preoccupied with the idea of just comboing window fire strike. You don't necessarily need to. You see where they are right now? Here's your opportunity to pin against this wall instead of walking backwards to the fire strike. To the window to fire strike, and you can like start swinging on these people. You can catch this Zarya before she's able to get past that cover and kill her. All right, but watch what happens instead. All right, watch what happens instead. You walk backwards instead of pinning. You go throw this fire strike. It's not fast enough to hit anything. You could have been there in swinging on the Zarya, but you instead go and miss this fire strike because it's just not aggressive enough. And then watch how they're just able to kite. So you go for this pin. You hit this wall right here. You should have pinned all the way to this wall. Because again, you're using in this case, they're down numbers. You can take space on them, and you need to use your pin, I think, a little bit more aggressively in this situation. Take all the way to this pipe, right here to this pipe, and start swinging on them. Because, like, look at these people. They're just chilling with the BAP. The longer this goes, the more BAP's just going to keep them healed. The closer they're going to get back to their team, and they're just not going to die. But, like, all of these people could have died. You could have killed all these people. And here's really sad, where you're on like half HP staring down a window, and you're gonna just blow your earth shatter while the Hanzo storm arrows you. Okay, I want you to know that a storm arrow through this window, if it's all headshots, does 1,400 damage. I'll just let you think about that for a second. Hanzo storm arrow alone, 5 headshots, does 1,400 damage through the window. Okay, just remember that next time you stand in front of a window while Hanzo is storm arrowing. Your health bar doesn't exist. It doesn't even exist. Okay, and so all of that could have, like, all this where they get to just retake the space back and get to the regroup. 100% of it could have been avoided if you had, instead of walking back to the window and fire striking, you pinned to this corner and gotten a pick. It would have changed the tide of the entire battle. Would have been an easy streets phase, and now you actually have to win another fight. Okay, so we're pinning back. Here I made a note that you can, when the bomb's going up here like this is a great bomb where they're going to rely probably on Reinhardt's shield. Well, this is where you pin the Reinhardt so that he doesn't get to shield this, right? And so if you had been on the ball with that, you could have pinned the Reinhardt so he wasn't shielding. And sure, the lamp would have saved some of these people, but not all of them. And they would have all been at 10% HP, and then you get the cleanup. You got good block on the shatter though. Okay, good pin backwards. You did play that part there at the end pretty well, I think. Okay, we reapproach it again. All right. I think it was this one that you overextended in open space. We'll see. Might be wrong. Maybe actually, I think that was the next attack, not this one. Like the next round of attack for you. Good staying with your team back here. Good check on your team there. I think you didn't really check your team enough. Look around and like turn around. Look at your team a little bit more often when you're playing Reinhardt. Like you're not the peel tank, but you do need to know where your supports are playing so that you know where you can play. Yeah, good kite here. Get your cooldowns back. Your D.Va will deal with the doom. Big block, dude. Massive MTD. Excellent. Okay. So, a note here, by the way, is that you're playing way too far back, right? Again, this fight was over. The enemy team is trying to reestablish positioning, and right now, you should already be at this corner. D.Va's doing the right thing by holding this really important high ground position, incredibly important power position here that each team wants to be in control of at all times. And D.Va's saying like, yeah, I'm going to start off with it. Okay. And you want to be right here so that as they're walking from wherever they are over here to like this corner, that they have to use some resources to get to you because you're going to be fire striking them and you're going to be shielding your Hanzo as he fires arrows back at them. So they have to use resources to get to you. But instead, you're way back here. You're giving them space. You're not encapsulating all the space that you have in between fights. And you should be way further forward at this point. Notice how they're able to like establish their kind of position here on the corner without actually having to use a whole lot of resources. Like they're pretty much mostly full health here. And mainly it's because you weren't ahead enough already. They're able to just kind of walk into the position, no problem. Nice fire strike there on the Baptiste. Excellent. It's a big bomb. Okay. And so on this next part here, as they're coming out of this door, what you should have done, actually, going back a second. Yeah. So as they're coming out, like, you notice how you're just kind of standing here holding your shield? Incorrect. Stand here, corner swing. Just stand here and corner swing. What are they going to do? They have to get you out of this position in order to be able to walk to the point. What if you were standing there? I want to just showcase, right? If you're corner swinging right here, in this case, Rein is up front. But what if Rein's not up front? If it's anyone else, like they can't even walk through the door, right? Even if it's Rein right here, he can't just walk through the door. He has to corner swing you and get you down to a point. He's going to have to pin you out. And if you counter pin him right here, that's awesome, right? Because then he can't do anything. But you're giving them the space for free. It's open space available to anyone to take. And instead of taking it, you're saying, you know what, enemy team? Enemy Reinhardt? Yeah, you can have it. I'll just let you have it. That's fine. You can have it. Way too timid. You could be all the way at that door. You can be all the way up at the door. If you notice where your team is right now, like your BAP can support you. He absolutely can support you at that door. No problem. Your Moira sitting up there, especially if you call it and say, hey, Moira, come up here with me. Come up here with me, Moira. Then you can play this corner, corner swing that, and you can just chill. In this moment, you can pin the Reinhardt into the cubby hole over here. You can just do a pin, right? And if you pin a nanoed Reinhardt, then he'll spend less time being nanoed doing damage, and he'll spend more time being nanoed getting charged. Okay. So that one's lost. Now we're back on defense. Sorry, we're on attack right now. Okay. For a moment, I want to appreciate. I went way too far up. Okay. As you walk through the choke, you remember there was a soldier because you looked that direction. I appreciate that. Nice. Getting caught out a little bit in open there. Kind of open space. And I think we're about to go wide fountain here. This is excellent. So when the enemy team has given you sort of like this space, and they're kind of like starting to play like only this space, and mostly they're kind of like they're sticking close to this wall here, and they're really just playing behind hotel. Then what you want to do is you want to try to bait their tanks to play on point, like deep, like all the way in this open space area, so that your team can easily attack them. And you want to get them far away from this natural cover. You want them to play here. You want them to play there. And how you do that is you bait them by walking and approaching this car behind the tree. You throw a fire strike and you say, hey, you want to contest me over here? You want to contest me over here? And you can try to bait them into the open space. Try to bait enemy tanks into open space. That's a big thing, by the way. It's a big tank thing. Bait the enemy into open space. Okay. However, there's a fine line. Okay, there's a fine line between you standing in a good defendable position with natural cover, all right, and you not standing in a defendable position, right? Because you are in open space right now. Micro positionally, you are not in a good position. But if you were standing right here, you'd be in a good position. Okay, little nuances. Okay, you're catching yourself over here. Don't swing over there. Be over here. Force him further into open space. Bait him further into open space. And you're dying here because you're not using the cover of that car. Your enemy's also, or your team's also taking losses, to be fair. But there are little nuanced things you can do there to improve your play. Little tiny. Taking wide statue. I like it. You win. You win the fight. You go. Go. Don't stand on point. Don't stand on point. You have 3 on point. You don't need any more on point. You can just you have 4 on point. You only get benefit for having 3. Any more than 3, there's no extra speed to the cap time. You go. Take the space you have. You literally have all the space, right? You have all this space. You could have this space. You could push them out and they'd be playing this corner. You could have this corner here and just say, you know what, all of this is mine. In fact, sorry, let me draw it better. All of this is mine, okay? Missed opportunities here. You're timid. You're on point. You don't be on point here. You're not on point. Your team caps point. Your team caps point. 30 seconds remaining. Take the space. So now they've regrouped. Very easily regrouped here. Your DPS need to take better lanes. There we go. Good block. This is where you MTD the living shit out of them. Excellent. This is where you go for the teabag. It's a pretty good teabag. However, you didn't spray. And so, yeah. Not a great teabag. It's like a 5 out of 10 teabag. Could have done better. Could have sprayed. Good. Okay. So now that you've finished this sort of streets phase area, you want to hold all the space. You want your Diva up here. You want your Hanzo like in here. Your Widow over here. You're going to be there. Your BAP's going to be sitting there. And your Mortar sits on point. Okay. This is what you want to do. Now they have to use ults to beat you in this fight to get to point. Right? So you want to encapsulate, you want to own and have possession of all of the space before the fight begins. All right? Let's see you. Your Diva knows what's up. Your Widow knows what's up. Hanzo's not taking an angle. You go way, way too deep to the left. Your limit is like you hold a shield right here so that you can come behind here because, you know, they've got this whole archway to like fire spam this way like this. Like this is the spam you're trying to stay out of, and you're just deep in it, right? That's why you play this angle, hiding this way. All right, force them to move forward to hit you anymore. Here, watch this. When you play, when you play that far forward, what it forces your BAP to do is to play even more forward. Your BAP, if you played here, could have healed you without moving, okay? But instead, since you played over here and baited yourself into open space where the spam is, then you're taking a bunch of damage, forcing your BAP to walk this way, while you kite this way, forcing you to come together into the same space, and the Zarya grabbed you and the BAP. An opportunity that could not have happened if you didn't bait yourself into open space. That makes sense? If you stayed here, BAP could have stayed here, Zarya could not have grabbed both of you. But watch. Zarya gets both of you in a grab. You bait your BAP forward, he tries to save you. Grabbed. It's as simple as that. Now, Zarya should have eaten it. That was very obvious. She almost ate it. It was very close to eating that. And then there's the blade and the Hanzo Dragon Arrow. There's nothing you can do. You're just dead. So I'm not saying that was an easy fight to win. They did have a lot of ults, okay? But you're moving into open space there, baiting your BAP forward into taking a position he didn't want to take. Kind of just made it really easy for the enemy team to beat you, even though you had like all kinds of positional advantage otherwise. Okay, last little bit. That's a glitched Moira Orb, by the way. That's just staying there because I paused when the Moira Orb was there and then moved back in the timer, but it stayed. It's just a replay viewer glitch. Okay. I remember I don't think you go for a spawn door fire strike. Oh, you do. Okay, we got it. You got it. We're back up here a little bit. We're giving him some space. I remember I think they bastioned you. Yeah. And so here's the thing, right? When they bastion you, all right, when they create this this spam lane like this and saying that if you're going to stand in this, you're going to die. That's what he's saying essentially. Then you do have to play backup hotel, all right? And so what you do in backup hotel, generally, if all of your team is sitting here and the enemy team is starting to like take position and they're like okay, their core moves from here to like here, their bastion rotates to like here and creates a longer, oh, let me draw that better. Bastion rotates to here and creates like a wider sort of spam lane. Say if you stand here, you're going to die now, right? Well, then if you're trapped in here, why not just go through hotel and then just like attack their backline? What it does, all right, this rotation here forces the tanks, their core, who are standing on point, to come contest you for a fight that's going to happen here, and they might not be ready for it. So if all 6 of you wait until they totally commit to point, you can even give them a tick. That's totally fine. You all rotate through hotel and take a back of statue fight that they're not ready for. Okay, I'll show you kind of how this looks. Oh, come on, game. All right. So you're walking behind hotel here. Your diva is a little bit caught out in open space here. That's not good. So she jets back over here. Your bastion makes their bastion makes the rotation I just talked about. Is now playing here, so that this is the spam lane that you can no longer stand in. Your BAP is kind of caught out. Hopefully he doesn't die. Then your whole team here just needs to wait for the Rein to get up to about here, and then you just rush through this way, and you can kill like the Ana, the BAP, and then the Bastion, and you win the fight. That's the idea. But you're not going to do that. Instead, you're going to just stay over here. The Bastion's going to overpower you. The diva takes that route that I was just talking about. Good on her. She can maybe kill this Ana. You're still just corner swinging there. You used your lamp. Now you're kind of low on shield. You're about to lose your shield. And since you just lost your mech, you just lost your lamp, you just lost your Hanzo. Now you're about to lose your diva as well. You know this fight's pretty much over. And so, yeah, this is where you go into open space and die instantly. I mean, it's fine. You basically lost the fight anyway. It's just losing quicker so that you can spawn back faster. I don't mind that. That pretty much sums up this match. And they're going to kind of just roll you from here. Okay, so you're playing this corner here. Again, I noticed not a whole lot of looking at your team, not really checking up on them. Now they are right behind you, but it would be better if you looked just to make sure you know they're there. There's some context clues, so you're pretty much fine. This is kind of just where I noticed it in my previous recording. You still have to play this corner. Yeah, you get shattered here. You've been blocking a lot of shatters, so I mean, it sucks that one came through. And then from here, the spawn disadvantage is just too strong, right? And so they're doing excellent. By the way, they are taking up a lot of space here. Bastion's kind of coming along. Ryan's holding over here. Maybe in a little out of position from the enemy Rein, but they're holding super far up again because this is like the snowball point. They don't want you to be able to touch point for free. She has to use Fade and Coalescence to even have a chance of touching this point. And of course, Cowboy Walker at the end of this just sells Eye Smell. That's very excellent. Nice recording. All right, cool. Anyway, that pretty much sums it up. A little bit of you, I think, standing a little bit in open space for your bubble management. I think that you're using bubbles incorrectly. You're just trying to gain some energy, but you're not using them to either gain energy and kite back so that you can take a repush, or using them to just outright push. You're not waiting for the enemy commitment. The timing is a little bit off. The grav, you're not waiting for the lamp to come out. You're not waiting for your team to be ready. You're not waiting for your Hanzo ult so that you can combo it. And with your Reinhardt, you're too timid to take space that's free, and you're just letting them take it themselves. So you did a good job at kind of MTDing the enemy Reinhardt. He only got, I think, one actual shatter off on you, and you got some pretty clean shatters on him. So as far as like playing the Rein v Rein game, I think you've got that pretty well. You're doing fine on that. But again, it's just a matter of understanding space just a little bit better. And I think that you can climb pretty high. All right, have a good one.